everybody is on their individual journey and trying to do the best that they can and trying to find their own happiness as well. So tapping into that bigger picture of universal love, that we all come from the same place, we're all on this journey with our own individual challenges and trying to find compassion for one another.
That is a great answer for any type of conflict, so thank you very much for that, and I hope that makes sense to you now. Thank you for calling in, and we also got saying hello to the wonderful coach community, so I know you have it, I know you have the positive elements too. All right, that's wonderful. Let's see here if we kind of remember the order that everything came in, but I think it's Barbara in Florida. Barbara.
Hi, Lisa. I'm in New York, in Florida. It's always nice to hear your kind energy, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm connecting with a couple of things that has been already one of your first, I think it was your first caller, said he's an empath, and I'm also an empath. And then Maya was also talking about a nonsensical situation. I'm dealing with a nonsensical situation in my 55-plus community here. And also being targeted with negative energy. I've had a situation with a neighbor who has dementia and should never have even been here because he wasn't able to take care of himself. And yet everybody in the community, well, I shouldn't say everyone that just thinks that they know exactly what, they don't bother to get their information straight, and they think they know exactly, based on gossip, hearsay, and assumption, what's going on. And meantime, one of the parties has tried to defame my character for quite some time ago, and that played into the whole situation. And so I
love that advice, kind of guidance. All right. Ron, is that enough information for you to go off of?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, the first card that I drew was the first chakra, which is the root chakra, and that has a lot to do, and in your case, with the story that you're telling, has a lot to do with your sense of safety and security. It also tells me like to be really grounded in your body helps to make sure that you stay grounded, keep yourself safe also, but also to put up some energetic protection. It's showing me that our sense of safety and protection doesn't only come from the physical world and the external world, but we can do a lot by putting some protection up around us and clearing our field so that we keep energy from other people, and especially if we feel that it's a negative influence on us, so that we keep that away from us. And a way to do that, for instance, like I'd like to envision that I put a bubble around me, like a big bubble, and I can give it a certain color, and I push the bubble away from my body, so I give myself a lot of space, and I just set it up with the intention that anything negative is not going to cross through the bubble towards me, and I keep the energy in that bubble really clear. And then the other thing that I do is I cut cords, or I take like a big vacuum cleaner and I just remove anything that is with me, around me, inside of me, and then I always add in like in any timeline, in any dimension, in any part of my body or my spirit or my soul or any part of me that has an influence on me, I demand that to be removed from me now into the light.
That's a great advice for all of us. Absolutely, to have that level of protection within your own bubble. And it also does emanate. I mean, if everything is energy, then this absolutely is a great idea. We are going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, Lon will continue with your reading. We have lots of people calling in, Lon, so just get ready. We'll be right back. You're listening to Coast AM.
Don't, hey, if you're wasted, what are you doing going on television?
Or the radio for that matter.
Or the radio for that matter.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. KFI. As the country bounces back from COVID and mask mandates are lifted, your business needs a lift too. Promote your company right here, right now. Radio ads connect with 93% of Americans every week. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? Visit iHeartAdvertising.com and get AM and FM working for you. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Replacing your windows and doors can be life-changing, inspiring you to live a healthy, happy life. And it's never been easier. Marvin Windows and Doors bring in daylight and fresh air, blending the indoors with the outdoors, so you're always connected to nature. They're designed for life, with an inspiring range of options to create the look you want and the lasting quality you need. Your local independent Marvin dealer will give you straight answers and advice about window and door replacement. Our Marvin specialists help you plan your project and select the right products for your needs. You'll always know what you're getting with a detailed proposal to make the whole process easier. If you're ready to transform your space with windows and doors you love, schedule your free consultation today at replacementmadeeasy.com. That's replacementmadeeasy.com.
The new true crime podcast, White Eagle, investigates one of the largest cash heists in U.S. history, the robbery of over $7 million from an armored car warehouse. Was the ringleader a criminal mastermind, or was he a political pawn in a Cold War operation?
For some folks, they were boogeymen. They were, bandits hidden in the mountains and shadowy figures. For others, they were heroes.
Listen to White Eagle on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't let KFI fill you in once in a while, you could miss it. KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. It's time for your morning wake-up call. Here's Jennifer Jones-Lee.
Well, good morning. Hope you had a great weekend. We did the dog beach thing, just as I said we were going to on Friday. There's something about the dog beach. And I'm telling you this because a lot of people who don't have a dog have never been to the dog beach. And I don't know what it is about seeing those big old juicy tongues hanging out of their mouths as they're running up and down the beach. That is like, I know they're getting pleasure and joy out of it, but I think I do too. I think it's selfish on my part. Anyway, Dog Beach was packed on Friday, and it was so much fun. You run into the coolest people. Everybody has all the same interests. And there were a ton of people there, I noticed, who didn't have dogs. They just like watching these furry friends run up and down the road, or the beach as the case may be. And by the way, today is National Pet Day. I would love to see your fur babies. Hit me up on Twitter and Instagram, JJLKFI. And you can follow me on Facebook, Jennifer Jones Lee. And, you're going to see, also over the weekend, you guys. It was National Siblings Day. Oh, my poor brother. I found a picture from when Trav had to be like, 2 or 3. I used to love to dress him up. I'm 8 years older. Oh, God. It was a leotard and leg warmers and a headband and a belt. It's all up there on social media, JJLKFI. I'm going to his house for Easter. I'm just going to make sure he doesn't poison my ham. Anyway, hope you had a great weekend. Here's what's just ahead on your wake-up call. More refugees are returning to Ukraine despite the war. The number hit nearly 23,000 over the weekend. Twitter's largest investor will no longer join the company's board of directors. The LA Long Beach area has the worst smog from ozone in the nation. 5:05, we're going to talk with ABC's Alex Crochet. President Biden has a full schedule this week, even though as many as 20 lawmakers have come down with COVID-19 around him. Also, there is word of a new restriction of ghost guns. We're expecting that to come down today. Hopefully, Alex can give us a preview of what's expected when we chat with him in just a few minutes. Let's start with some of these stories coming out of the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The World Bank says it expects Ukraine's economic output to be cut almost in half because of Russia's invasion that has closed or destroyed businesses and cut off its maritime shipping.
Російські війська перейдуть до Сибірі. Масштабних дій на
That is Ukraine's President Zelensky, who says we are preparing for their actions and we will respond. He warns of the nation of the Russian troops building up its forces in eastern Ukraine. Military analysts say Russia is preparing for a major offensive. Austria's leader says he plans to meet with Russian President Putin in Moscow. That will be the first in-person meeting between Putin and European leaders since the Russian invasion. And check this out. You've got more refugees returning to Ukraine. So, war's going on in your country, and you fled originally. Now, for whatever reason, maybe you don't have a place to stay anymore. Maybe you were staying with family, and you feel like you can't stay there any longer. 23,000 refugees have gone back to their country. Where war is raging, they've gone back. And that makes it the most in one day. This all happened Saturday since Russia invaded in 7 weeks ago. The United Nations says 4.5 million people have escaped the fighting so far, with 60% crossing into neighboring Poland, but it's estimated 7 million others remain out of their homes inside Ukraine, and 9 evacuation corridors are opening today. 2 people have been killed in a shooting at the Willowbrook area of South LA. The LA County Sheriff's Department says the attack happened shortly after 4 yesterday near 122nd Street and Compton Avenue. A 17-year-old boy and a man were killed. 5 other people were hurt. A woman's been killed by a hit-and-run driver in West Compton. The CHP says the 64-year-old was crossing Avalon Boulevard a little before midnight Saturday when she was hit. They say she was not in the crosswalk. Orange County Parks has set up the stage for some sizzling summer sounds supplied by its free summer concert series.
10 free outdoor concerts beginning on June 23rd.
OC Board of Supervisors Chairman Doug Chafee says bring picnic stuff, lawn chairs, the family dog, and of course, the whole family.
Artists performing throughout the summer include Donovan Frankenreiter, the Aquabats, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, and the New Respects. I think they wrote together a tattoo ready or something.
Snacks, beer, and wine will also be sold. Doors open at 5. The outdoor concerts run from 6 to 8. More info can be found at ocparks.com. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
When we come back, we will talk with ABC's Alex Crusay about President Biden this week. First of all, there is an outbreak of COVID-19 amongst Democratic lawmakers. We'll talk about that a little bit and also focus on the announcement he's expected to make on the restrictions on ghost guns today. Right now, let's get a look at your drive. Nick Taliokini, hope you had a great weekend.
Weekend was solid, right back at JJL, and it's going to be problems for the drive. First thing this morning, folks are making their way to the New Hall Pass on the southbound side of the 14 approaching the 5 where the 4 cars backed up that are the carpool and left lane taken away. That has been cleared through the right shoulder, at least for the most part. Some of the jump is still up against the center divider from this wreck, and that's why you're seeing a especially heavy drive out of New Hall, coming away from New Hall Avenue to make way 14 southbound toward the 5. Got an update on this problem or anything else going down your morning. Town 250 and herself on keyword is still tough traffic. Even before all of that, on the 14 southbound passageway is coming out of the, let's say, Palmdale adjacent area from the merge of the Pear Blossom Highway. 14 southbound passageway series that continue through the Agua Dulce area. Westbound 91 already started to shape up to be a busy one for your drive, Riverside through Corona. As you come away from La Sierra, that will be heavy stretches continuing toward about Surface Club. Further westbound on the 91, you'll see delays again approaching the 241 forward, and then beyond that, through Yorba Linda and Anaheim Hills, continuing toward the 55. Not too bad for your drive. KFI and the Sky helps get there faster. I'm Nick Taliokini.
5:06 on your wake-up call. Let's say good morning to ABC's Alex Crusay. Alex, first off, before we get to the ghost guns, there is just a run of COVID-19 amongst Democratic lawmakers, it seems.
That's right, Jennifer. It's been kind of rough the last few days. And a lot of it stemming from that gridiron gala that was held here in D.C. Listen, we don't have total numbers, but I can give you a rough estimate. From that dinner, there are about 600 or so attendees, and right now, about 10%, a little more than 10% actually, have tested positive. And so, whether it be New York Mayor Eric Adams, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, there are a slew of prominent politicians that have been positive for COVID.
Are most all of them vaccinated and boosted?
Yes, and so certainly in the case of the House Speaker or New York Mayor, we're looking at a lot of cases that are coming from folks who are vaccinated and boosted. It's one of those things where we were talking with Dr. Anthony Fauci about this over the weekend, and even when it comes to the president, you heard Jim Saki last week that it is possible that he could pop positive. But he's 39. He's double vaccinated. He's double boosted. He got his second mRNA booster last month. We're going to have to start to look at protocol, this is according to them, and monitor, especially for these large gatherings, which is what they call DC kind of prom season. The White House correspondents that are coming up at the end of the month. There's another one of these large gatherings. But the organizers of these events are going to have to start looking at data and CDC guidelines and see where the trends are.
Absolutely. All right, now let's talk about ghost guns and the crackdown that we're expecting to hear from the Biden administration today. These are those guns that are untraceable. You can find all the parts on the internet to make one, and basically anybody could do it, really.
Well, yeah, and so this new rule, they're calling it a final rule on ghost guns. Number one, it's meant to get at a lot of the headlines we've seen over the last or so about the uptick in violent crime. The administration targeting these ghost guns. And number two, it's meant to close a loophole, essentially. These ghost guns, they're called ghost guns because, they're assembled without much of a trace. The administration now looking to clarify that anyone who wants to purchase one of these weapons by a part kit, that they have to go through the same process that they would go through to purchase a commercially made firearm. And also, if you want to sell one of these weapons, that they need to have serial numbers.
Okay, how do you get a serial number on a gun that you made? Who do you go to?
Okay. Well, so what they're going to do is, for commercial manufacturers of these kits, they will have to be licensed, and those kits will have to include serial numbers. And also, in addition, for commercial sellers that issue these kits, they'll have to run background checks before selling a kit. And then, if you already have one of these guns in circulation, the DOJ will require these federally licensed dealers to take any unserialized firearm and serialize it before selling that weapon.
Okay, that's on the commercial side. What about somebody who may have made a ghost gun and has it at home? They put it together because, they wanted a specialty gun. I'm not even talking about anybody who wanted to do something nefarious. They just wanted to put together some specialized gun for themselves. Are they grandfathered in, or what do they do?
Well, so that happens, my understanding of this right now, that only comes into play if you try to sell that gun. It needs to be serialized. Now, if you guys are just chilling, then, I don't know that there's a mechanism by which they can trace these. That's why they're ghost guns, right? But if you try to sell these guns, if you try to make a profit off of them, in some capacity, then they need to be serialized.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex, for answering all of that. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right. Good to talk to you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. That is ABC's Alex Persay. So a lot is coming down today. And as soon as we do get all of the facts from the Biden administration, of course, we'll bring them to you here on KFI. More than 1,000 people protested vaccine mandates in downtown Los Angeles. A rally was held at Grand Park yesterday, and it was organized by Defeat the Mandate. That's the name of the group, Defeat the Mandate. The group has sponsored anti-vaccine and anti-mandate events across the country. Members of the People's Convoy of Truckers showed up at the peaceful rally. Federal marshals have recovered 16 missing children in Louisiana after a 3-month investigation. 16 kids who were missing. What struck me about this when I read the story last night was there are 16 families who thought the worst, who got that feeling, that pit in their stomach, that, oh my God, my child's gone. 16 of them have been recovered. The U.S. Marshal Service in Louisiana say they also arrested 5 people they allege were involved in a sex trafficking ring in some of the cases. It's called Operation Fresh Start. It was centered in the area of New Orleans and started in January. And while that is amazing that they got those 16 kids, imagine how many thousands others there are out there. I don't know why that hit me so hard last night, but it was such a bittersweet story. It just reminded you of what all those parents and those children, The children are living a normal, everyday life, and all of a sudden they're being sex trafficked? Unbelievable. Explosive sounds went off in Times Square in New York, and as you can imagine, people got a little panicky.
What it is? What is it?
Yeah, that would be me too. I'd be running going, oh my God, what is it? Officials say a cable failure caused one manhole to erupt yesterday. There was smoke coming out of another manhole. This story is so sad. Alex and I, this morning, got to reminiscing about Kmart. Kmart will be down to just 3 stores when a store in New Jersey closes later this week. Michael Lisicki has written several books on retail history and says Kmart had something for everybody.
I mean, you had all the appliances, you had the tools, the women's had the children's clothes, and the kids, come on, you had toys, you had sporting goods, you had candy, you had stationery.
Kmart had more than 2,000 locations across the country. All right, tell me, these are the things that Alex and I were talking about this morning. The sticky floor. Come on. It's the thing, and it was kind of just what you got used to. Remember this? It was squeaky, yes. And remember the, icy machines that they had, and you could get the red and the blue? And the pink. Alex, what was it about Kmart pink? I don't know. It was a different thing. Like, I told my mom, I am down with some Kmart clothes. Honestly, that's about all we had in Reading. I think we had Kmart and Penny's. And Penny's was where, like, the rich people shopped, or where grandma would get you clothes from, right? But, like, you know, we're just going into town, and Jenny needs a new pair of, I don't know, sneakers. We're going to Kmart. I was fine with everything except Kmart pink, because I'm like, everybody's going to know it came from Kmart, Mom. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I have fond memories of Kmart. You know, we'd come out of there with a plant and some sneakers, and Dad would have bought something to go fishing with, and I don't know, I used to pick up a prescription. End of an era. Oh, this is phenomenal.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell built a land above us on the sky.
Who is that, you're asking? It is John Lennon's son, Julian. He helped raise $10 billion at a fundraiser for Ukraine in Warsaw. Julian performed the 1971 hit Imagine Saturday for Stand Up for Ukraine, that's the hashtag. Julian once vowed he would never sing that song unless he felt the world was coming to an end. Julian became estranged from his father after he left to marry Yoko Ono, his father obviously. Yoko co-wrote that song with John. But, man. I have a lot to say about that. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about ABC's Aaron Tursky. Russia has appointed a new war commander. Have you heard this? According to some reports, though, this guy's track record can only be described as brutal. Now, hold on. Why do you put in a new war commander if everything is going just as you planned, President Putin? We'll find out when we talk with Aaron in just a second. So see you again. Oh, look at this. I'm shocked. It's slow on the 91.
Definitely the case. Now, knock on wood, nothing in lanes, Jen, on the westbound side out of Riverside through the Corona area, but definitely heavy stretches of slowing for you this morning. First thing from Tyler as you make your way toward the 241 toll road, and also seeing a bit of an unusually busy drive. 241 northbound approaching the Windy Ridge toll plaza, so definitely heads up for you here. Orange County still looking pretty good for your drive, and not too anything major going down in LA County with the exception of ongoing problems for you. In the New Hall Pass, 14 southbound as you make your way toward the 5. 4-car matchup is up against the center divider as well as off to the right shoulder. Looks like you've got a busy drive